Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. Hope you guys all had a great weekend. Yes, I am finally back to start things off. Stellar's XLM currency rose to a 1-week high on Monday, with technical charts indicating that the end of the downtrend may be near. The XLM price surged by 8.8% on Monday, the highest since the 6th of August. Going down a little bit, not talking too much about the price. Stellar was in the headlines on Friday after Business Insider reported that Facebook was considering partnering with the company to build its own variant of the blockchain network. However, these rumors were immediately quelled after a Facebook spokesperson reportedly told Cheddar that the company is not engaged in any discussion with Stellar and we are not considering building on their technology. The initial report from Business Insider came after Facebook Vice President David Marcus stepped down from the board of Coinbase over conflict of interest. This only fuels speculation that the social media juggernaut was ramping up efforts to deliver its own blockchain-based currency. This was something that was quite big. Even when I was away, I tried to make sure to keep up with some of the news. A lot of the hype came from this. One of the problems that the cryptocurrency space has right now is market hype. Prices will completely explode simply because someone heard something that someone else said. And also another problem is that I think, if you may have noticed over the last couple of months, a lot of heavy market players have gotten into it. Bloomberg, Fortune, what have you, these networks, they kind of get into the crypto. They have gotten further into the cryptocurrency space as crypto has been legitimized, if you will, over the last couple of months because of the NASDAQ and because of the other stock exchanges around the world that are trying to get into it. The problem is, for some reason, when they report things, they usually tend to report things that are not correct. Even like when I go around and I look for news, like I make sure to find news that I'm finding, especially if it's something very significant, if it has something to do with Stellar and Facebook linking up or joining up or collaborating in some way. I try to make sure that it's at least correct on 5 different websites. The problem is, the last couple of months have seen these websites just actually copying, pasting from each other. And that is going to be a big problem, because when eventually we do have major money sometime in the future getting into the cryptocurrency market, like I said, I don't think they're going to be using any of the websites that I use. I have a feeling that they're going to be using the bigger named websites that have, the grand names in finance that have been around for quite some time. But when even they report something incorrectly, that is a major problem. And I think they may get into trouble sometime in the future, because you can't be Bloomberg and or Fortune and say that Facebook is doing something or talk about rumors. I don't know. I think that the market is still a little, not fragile. I think we're still a little flimsy, and people try to jump on any type of news that they can. So at the moment, Stellar is, I believe, one of the only coins that is green, Tether being also green because it's Tether. I don't have it in this video, but I think a day or two ago, I'm pretty sure it was a day or two ago, they've released another $50 million or 50 million Tether into the market. And when this happened, Bitcoin's price slid up a tiny bit, and then people started screaming market manipulation. What's happening is, with Tether, not to spend too much time talking about Tether, is that Tether is one, it's been audited by some company they said is legit. And I told you guys we're getting into a space right now. I also don't have the info in this video because it would have been like a paragraph and a half. It pretty much comes down to another company. They call it Savvy or Mavi, is something with 2 V's. They announced that they have also launched their EOS stablecoin. So the stablecoins are here to stay, and more money is being pumped into Tether, as it is one of the very few that we have right now, except for True USD. So this is why Tether has created more Tether, and why Bitcoin's price is up a tiny bit. And this is why Stellar is also up in price as well. It is kind of nice to see certain coins in green, even if it all is kind of false. We've had a problem, like I said, where we keep getting news about the market and none of the market is actually correct. Even about other companies or other things that are happening in the cryptocurrency space, none of it seems to be real. And it could be, for what it's worth, we just got finished with the news about the ETF. We're still like reeling back from that. Apparently, this is what the market is going through. And also, we just came out of the weekend, and every time we come out of the weekend, the prices are never really, okay, Waves is doing well. We're never really, in complete green, especially on Mondays. Continuing on, blockchain-based social media network called Minds is migrating its platform to the Ethereum network. The startup announced on Monday, after roughly 4.5 months on its Rumours test network, the startup will be moving to Ethereum for its full-time launch. The firm claims to provide a censorship-resistant, accessible social media network for platforms, especially for users, especially those in potential authoritarian nations, according to a press release. I'll try and touch on that in a moment. The platform already sees around 500,000 daily page views, CEO Bill Otterman told CoinDesk. The platform also claims roughly 1.25 million registered users, about 75% of whom have already earned test tokens. These users will be eligible to receive the platform's live token via a free airdrop distribution as a result. They said we expect an overall increase in transactions, both on-chain and off-chain, due to the activation of token withdrawals, purchases, and rewards. Otterman continued to say that the team has engineered a hybrid on-chain, off-chain model to ensure that the system can handle the volume mines is seeing and to provide a simpler user experience for crypto newcomers. The on-chain, off-chain model will also help the platform handle large user volumes without congesting the Ethereum network. Thank goodness. According to the company, users can pay tokens to ensure a greater number of people see their posts or earn tokens by interacting with content. Users can also use it to pay creators directly and subscribe to premium content. I have not signed up for Mines. I don't use Mines. They say that they have 1.25 million registered users. As always, let other people know if you have been using Mines. It seems kind of interesting. So there's two things I want to touch on. One is the part where they're talking about paying people. It said it somewhere. I don't remember exactly where it is. What's happening now is that people are trying to find a replacement for Facebook. Facebook has been in the news a lot. A lot of people aren't happy with what they've been doing. And one of the other things is that a lot of people don't know is that when you're on many websites and when they ask you if they can show you cookies and they ask you if they can show you this, is that they're taking your data or data, depending on how you want to say it. And part of the issue is that they're not paying you, but they're making billions every single year, and that is a major problem for a lot of people. So what a lot of people are trying to facilitate or start or bring about and is the idea, because typically what happens is when you create an idea and it works, other people start to adopt it. So people think that blockchain and crypto is set up for a world where we can have social media platforms, things like Ethereum, my gosh, Instagram or Facebook, and pretty much you can have a profile and it will tell you somewhere as you're signing up, your data will be used, as in, we will sell it to companies. Same exact thing that Google does, Amazon does, Facebook does, Instagram does. Every one of these platforms does the exact same thing. But in these new platforms on the crypto social media places, they will pretty much make it so that if your data is being sold, you will also be paid. And it seems to be what they're doing with this one right here. They say that they're trying to, they will be paying you as well. Sorry, someone was screaming outside. I don't know what that was. It seems like this is exactly kind of what's going on, and I think this is going to continue a lot further on. I used Steam a very long time ago. It had to be sometime last summer. I just kind of dropped it somewhere along the way because the platform was kind of weird. But this kind of is the exact same thing. You get paid for posting content onto these websites. And I think and hope that this is the way that social media will go. I don't know exactly how much longer Facebook will be the number one media platform in the entire world. They've done a very good job of getting themselves there. Like I said, I have not used mine, so this is not me boasting about it or talking about how awesome it is. But a lot of these platforms are going to start launching, especially as crypto becomes more legitimate in the eyes of normal people. So this is the social media, if you want to, blockchain news for the day. Next up, Bitcoin is in the news. Bitcoin BTC now makes up 50% of the entire cryptocurrency market. Shortly on 3 in the morning on August 11th, CoinMarketCap Bitcoin's dominance rate, an indicator that tracks the percent of total crypto market capitalization contributed by the leading cryptocurrency, reached 50% for the first time since the 19th of December in 2017. Not going to go too much into the prices. It's not super important. We've been talking about Bitcoin dominance for quite some time. In January, Bitcoin's dominance, because of the altcoin run-up, was around, it had to be 36, 34% or something like that. And there was a huge amount of interest in the market when XRP passed Ethereum, and XRP was very close to passing, more or less, passing Bitcoin as well. And there's been times in the past as well later, when Ethereum has been close to passing Bitcoin. And this is because, long story short, Bitcoin's dominance is a major key indicator of how strong Bitcoin is, obviously, compared to the rest of the market. So when we have things like this, it leads a lot of people to believe that, I don't even know what to really say, because it could be a whole slew of things. Bitcoin regaining its dominance kind of shows or lets the market know that Bitcoin could be poised for a shoot up in price, as the altcoins are draining, and all the money that is draining from these altcoins is probably going into Bitcoin. Or it could just be that the price of Bitcoin is manipulated in some sort of way. It's been the idea of a lot of people and myself for quite some time. I said this when the market was going down. I didn't mention it a lot, but I think that the moment Bitcoin got past 51%, I think, or 50%, that was a major indicator that Bitcoin is poised to go back up. One of the things that I believe in, which a lot of other people have seen this as well, when Bitcoin, how do I put this into a nice box? People like altcoins. People are going to continue to buy altcoins. There are so many altcoins right now that when they do eventually go up in price, they don't tend to go up by 1% to 2%. A lot of them may follow the price of Bitcoin down, or even if Bitcoin goes down a tiny bit, they may completely slide down. But typically, if Bitcoin goes up around 2%, altcoins will go up around 5% or 8%, sometimes 14%, depending on the type of news that they got that day. And I think this is, like I said, once again, just me. I think the people who are the major owners of Bitcoin, I think they know exactly what they're doing. I think they know exactly how to keep Bitcoin afloat. But Bitcoin is going to have a lot of issues when we have the next bull run. There's a lot of hype around Ethereum right now, between Raiden, between Casper, between Plasma, and every other type of word out there that you can kind of think of. Same exact thing for XRP. Similar for other certain altcoins. We've reached the points in the market where Bitcoin is showing that it is king, but I think I guess 8% of it is also hope. I like things to be shaken up a tiny bit, that Bitcoin may not be the number one coin for quite some time, or may, be dethroned. No one knows exactly what's going to happen, but the dominance rate has steadily increased as the time has gone on. People have said that it is attributed to the fact that the rest of the market is full of SHIT coins, and that the rest of the market is not simply good. I was reading something yesterday, and they were talking about Bitcoin in general. I was reading 2 books about Bitcoin, and they were saying that their prediction for something in the future is that eventually what's going to happen is Bitcoin is going to rise to a high 5-digit amount. It's going to have about 3 or 4 altcoins tag along with it. And then for some mystical reason, the rest of the market, that's everything right here, will completely fall to 0 and die. And this will be the deciding factor for Bitcoin becoming the number one currency that we have on the earth. No one knows what's going to happen, but I think, like I said before, we've talked about this 1,500 times. The people who are controlling the prices of the market, and more so the price of Bitcoin, I think they're trying to make sure that Bitcoin holds its dominance or has a higher dominance in other coins. Because realistically, if Ethereum is supposed to be getting Raiden at the end of this month, and also if it had Plasma and Casper, I think Ethereum would definitely take the number one coin. But as of now, the news is that Bitcoin is sitting on top of the mountain, and no one else can shake a stick at it, or whatever you kind of want to say talking about it. Last thing that we're going to talk about is global economic instability. I know that's a topic that we don't normally hit on, but I'll read through a bit of it. Mainstream media seized on the unraveling currency crisis in Turkey on Monday, August 13th, with Bloomberg publicizing a demonstration of Bitcoin's comparatively low volatility. Leading with the headline, Turkey meltdown propels lira volatility above Bitcoin, Bloomberg became the latest publication to reveal the full extent of the Turkish national currency's devaluation this year. It said the 10-day swing in the lira relative to the US dollar now exceeds those for Bitcoin amid Turkey's escalating currency crisis, as reported by Bloomberg. Turkey has seen an uptick in consumer interest in Bitcoin since the lira, which had already halved in value against the dollar since January, rapidly slid to all-time lows over a raft of geopolitical factors, which we are not going to get into. This is not a political channel. According to data from Google Trends, interest in Bitcoin increased markedly in August, while local exchanges have seen volumes explode by over 150% this week alone. This was in the news that I was reading like yesterday or today. I'm pretty sure it was in the news yesterday as well. What's happening is that the U.S. is, for what it's worth, at least from what I've been reading, is trying to show its force. The president of the U.S. Says that he is trying to bring things back to America, and the way that you do that is make sure that you make America first. But what is happening is that he's ruffling a lot of feathers, and in accordance with all of this, it seems like the perfect storm. And I told you guys I'm trying not to get my hopes up. There's two things. I want a crypto bull run, and I'm sorry if you are invested in the normal stock market. I have been prophesized a crypto, a normal stock market crash. It's been since at least 2012 now, and I'm sure you've heard whispers about it as well, that it is supposed to happen relatively soon. And what's happening is that a lot of countries are not happy with what the U.S. is doing, or that they are pushing back or trying to bring things back to their borders, whatever the case may be. Like I said, we're not going to get into it. And this is also happening at the same exact time where a lot of other countries are also talking about creating their own crypto. Their fiat currencies are being devalued, not even just by the U.S., simply because their fiats are being overprinted. Same with Venezuela, where they are experiencing they're near, like, I think 1,000,000% inflation or something like that. So we're at a point where U.S. debt and worldwide debt is now in the trillions. The U.S. debt is completely out of control. It's been reported before that this debt is never going to be repaid to the multiple countries that it has been taken from. You have countries falling apart. You have the U.S. with a huge amount of debt. We have other countries who are talking about economic and or trade wars. And you also have people on CNN, CNBC, Fortune, Bloomberg, wherever you want to look for your news, especially if it is on the television, talking about that the stock market is overvalued and has been overvalued for the last 4 years, meaning prices have been pumped up in order for other people to make money so that when they cash out, they can have all the money while other people are kind of left there with sad faces. I think we're in a perfect storm, and tell me if I am wrong or if this seems incorrect. The way that I kind of see it is, I don't think things in finance happen haphazardly or randomly. I don't think there's a point where companies or banks are talking about getting into something and they randomly decided it. The fact that we have the NASDAQ and Swiss banks and other banks around the world legitimizing cryptocurrency and talking about that they're trying to get into the space, it kind of seems like they know that the stock market is going to crash, that the market is going to go down, and this is why they're trying to create infrastructure for cryptocurrency. I don't know if I mentioned that before. It's just at the front of my lobe right now, so this is kind of why I said it. Anyway, not to spend too much time on this, I'm sure this is going to develop as the week goes on. This is something that a lot of people are talking about right now, and typically we don't tend to get news on things until around Monday because this is when news tends to come out. I'm going to assume, and I'm going to, let's say by the end of September, gives us about good 6 weeks, 6.5 weeks, something like that. I don't know exactly what day it is, that we have, I assume, Turkey falling apart, or their currency, for what it's worth, is going to kind of spread to other countries who they're also working with and or trading with. The same exact thing. We're also not too far away from the Brexit. I know I don't tend to talk about other things that are happening in the world besides crypto, but these are all matching up a little bit too conveniently, that all these things are kind of falling apart at once. And I told you guys, I'm sure we are going to see a moment in history, and it's going to be one of the scariest and most exciting things in the entire world, is when hyperinflation is hitting a lot of countries right now, whether you are paying attention to it or whether you have been reading it or you just are completely unaware because normal finance doesn't interest you. Hyperinflation is happening. A lot of countries are relatively falling apart really fast, and they're talking about creating their own crypto. We're going to have something in the future, probably about 3, 4, 5 years away from now, but it's building up where smaller countries are going to start having crypto as their currency of their country, and it's been expected that at least 1 or 2 of them within the next 5 years is going to have Bitcoin. And this is when we are going to start seeing the high six-figure amounts for Bitcoin as a currency. All right, everyone, that is definitely going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Not too much crazy news, more or less, today. It's kind of, 50-50. I'll try and see if I can find more about the Stellar Lumens thing, but as of now, it looks like they're not working with Facebook. I don't know where this news keeps coming from, that everyone is working with these major players, and then 2 days later, it's not happening. I feel like someone is pushing this news out, because it seems a bit weird that we have all this news about Coinbase and about SBI and about Stellar Lumens and Facebook and Instagram and these other social media outlets using it, or Google was using it, or there was rumors before that Amazon was going to be accepting Litecoin, and then that also didn't pan out. I feel like someone or some group, not to put the tinfoil hat on, is giving this news out for everyone to kind of lavish in, and then the market goes up, and then we eventually fall back down, and then this in turn leads us to a moment where we have these same outlets who were talking positively about crypto the week before, then talking about how fragile the market is because the market has dropped because of fake news. Doesn't seem, everything, I guess, kind of lines up in the end. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you once again for watching and or listening, and I will talk to you all soon. See you.